Okay, so this video is to demonstrate how you can run Cyanogenmod 12.1 on your Galaxy Note 4 dual boot with the Samsung Rom. Stock Rom, I should say, is what I have currently. If I go to About, you can see here I am running the latest Cyanogenmod as of 2015-06-12 5.1.1, and I've customized my theme, as you can see, with Cyanogenmod themer over here. As you can see, if I were to go to default style, update, poof, see, everything switches up nice and good. And I don't want that. I want to stick with the one I got, so I'm going to go back. Now, as I said, this is dual booted with a little trick we got here. Both are installed. Got some fun little options with each of them, like ROM, reset image, change image. Change image is changing the picture that's displayed right there for each ROM. This is the Samsung Rom. These are all the devices supported by this. As you can see here, the list is pretty big. Samsung S4, S5, S6 Edge, Galaxy Note, Note 4 Snapdragon, all that good stuff. Pause the video, take a look for yourself if you want to see. Now, so what you need to do is, I would advise having a rooted stock Samsung Rom, and also I have TouchWiz recovery mod, my custom recovery, and then once I got both of those installed, or you should already have those installed. That's a whole other video, rooting your phone and having a custom recovery and everything. So I hope you already got that done and you understand at least all that. Remember, anything you do at this point is under your own discretion, and I'm not responsible. You're the one who's obviously doing it, right? So, but nothing should go wrong really, as long as you have a good understanding. So what you would do is, you would go to this lovely website right here. See that link right there? Go to that link right there. You'll end up on this page. Now the latest version will obviously be at the top. Now on your phone, pick the Android version and download that link right there. The app. APK. Download the Android version, not the Windows 32, because that's for your computer obviously. We're not dealing with that right now. So, once you download that app, you go to your phone, and I have ES File Explorer or Manager, whatever you want to call it, and go to my downloads, and this would be your application right here that you would be installing. Install it. I already have it installed. I don't need to install it. Once you have that installed, you go in here. You'll normally start up with that page right there. Click on the little tab, go to patch zip file. Now, this part here, you have to make sure you download by going to Cyanogenmod on your phone. Download. And my version, I'm on the Canadian Galaxy Note 4, just to verify that real quick. The actual version that I'm running to show compatibility about phone, and it's already been showed. Model number SM910W8, running the latest Cyanogenmod, and as you can see, I am using the TRL TETMO. So you would go to this little list on Cyanogenmod website that I told you to go to. I'll show that again. Search Cyanogenmod, go to download, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. We're looking for the one we need. The list is still compiling. TRLTETMO. That would be the Galaxy Note 4. I think that's the T-Mobile version, but it works with the Canadian Galaxy Note 4 with version I showed you on my model number in my settings. So you would download this onto your phone, this zip right here. Don't extract it, keep it as a zip. It's good like that. Put it on your phone, and then here you would have to click, because you have to obviously pick the device you're using. I'm using the Galaxy Note 4 Snapdragon. You can see it's been selected, and I would pick the secondary ROM, and I would update the secondary ROM. Is the ROM that's going to be dual booted, and for your secondary ROM you want it to be the Cyanogenmod version. You don't want it to be your stock Samsung ROM. You want your stock Samsung ROM to be installed first. Then you want to go through this. You want to go in here, pick Galaxy Note 4 secondary, because that's obviously the phone we're using and where we want the install to be as the secondary. Then, as you can see, you can either click the tab, search, find the file you were told to download on this date. That's the most recent one. Download it, click it, then it says tap again to begin patching. You tap again, begin your patching. Your patch will finish. I don't need to because I've already done that, but it will finish. Give it a chance, don't rush it. And you click this little button down here. Click OK. You click the plus. And you search for the ROM you created. Now, you want to make sure. Oh, no, wrong one, see? It's pretty smart, tells you if it's not the right one. So I'm looking for the most recent one I have. I downloaded. Let's see if I can turn this sideways, get a better view of the name. There we go. That's the latest one. But for file manager, I want to look for something. Look a little better here. I'll find the specific one. Okay. Now the patch zip, the original one you can see is there on top. The one on the bottom there says nightly TRLTMO dual. Dual. Make sure you see that dual there. Okay? That dual is going to be your actual install of your second software, or Cyanogenmod in other words. It's going to be your second ROM. But if you don't do it on dual, it's going to install it onto your main ROM. You're going to lose all your main ROM and your main stuff. So make sure you click the dual. This was created when you had downloaded this file off of the Cyanogenmod website. Going into this option I showed you, patch zip file, Tap to choose my file, patched it, whatever one I was patching. Then I made sure, went to ROMs, click this little button here, click the plus button, search for the one you're looking for, make sure it's got dual, go into file manager if you have to, manually search for that file where it's located. It should be located wherever you put it, probably in your download folder. Find that file, make sure it says dual, right? That's the original right there. That's the dual right there. That's the one that we created. You click that. Gives you this warning. The zip was originally patched for installation to dual. Would you like to change the installation location? No, because that's where we want it. We want it to be on our dual. So you'd keep location. That's because I'm already on my second ROM. So this thing's really smart. It's not going to allow you to do something stupid. So you do that. Run your little patch. You install your second ROM. Then on your original ROM, we'll go into here. And see, I'm already on my Cyanogenmod this whole time. So you would already be on your Samsung Lollipop original ROM when you're installing this. Switch ROM successful. See? This means when you reboot, you're going to switch to whatever one you pick. So I'm going to pick the Lollipop. Click here. And click reboot. So you download this file here. That website. Download the Android.app file to your phone. Download the Cyanogenmod pertaining to your phone. Like I said, it's all been described. And then you should be good to go. My phone's just rebooting, so I'm going to give it a second. I'll get back to you in a minute. So I wanted to give a more direct approach on the install process. So once you got all those files in place and everything, I want to show something here. I'm going to close this. I'm going to open it back up. Okay, so first time opening it. I already got my files put on the phone. I'm going to show you how I actually do. This is the patch that you would do. So you click here, pick the Galaxy Note 4 because that's what we're using. We want to upgrade the secondary ROM because our primary ROM is currently, I'm going to show you, I am running in my Samsung Rom right now. I deleted my Cyanogen ROM so I can show you exactly. So pick that, Samsung, Snapdragon, secondary like I said. And I'm going to pick here for the file I'm going to patch, which is my Cyanogenmod Rom that I downloaded on the website I showed you. Currently it was searching the wrong location, so I'm going to look for my downloads, and then I'm going to look for my Cyanogenmod that I downloaded. This one's compatible. That TRLTE TMO is compatible with the Galaxy Note 4 from Canada. 910W8 version, if I'm not mistaken. And so we click that one. It's the right date and everything. And tap again. And here we go. Overall progress. Let it take its time. Don't rush. Let everything finish. Boom. File created, successfully patched. So now when I go back into ROMs and I click this little icon here, you get your little error, not an error, sorry, your little warning. Just read through it, blah blah blah. It's not really that important to me. Then I'm going to click on the little plus down here at the bottom. I'm going to use whatever Explorer I use to search through all my files. And now this is the file that was created, the dual. It's the same as this, but this one's down here. The dual version is going to install on your secondary partition. And so you got to make sure you pick the one that says dual at the end there. Alright, so I click dual, gives you a little warning. The zip was originally patched for the installation on dual, so it's given a little check. That's good. It give you a warning if you were trying to install on your primary ROM, which we're not trying to do. We're trying to install a secondary ROM. So then we keep the location, and then I click my little button here at the top. My tablet's gonna die soon, so hopefully it doesn't die before this is all done. And then we should be good to go. Getting everything done. Copying temporary image to system. All that good stuff. Setting kernel. Everything finished successfully. Now, as you can see, boom, there it is, my secondary ROM. So I'm going to click on that, successfully switched. This is how you switch back and forth between how you're going to boot, by going into this app. And then I'm going to go to reboot. Now when I reboot, you should see that we're going to boot into Cyanogenmod. Haha, see? And now we're booting off our secondary ROM. And our Samsung Rom is still intact and everything. Kernel, all that good stuff. Only thing you really need to know after this point is how to install specific files to this ROM instead of the Samsung ROM or your stock ROM, in other words. So you would go through that whole patch process. Say you were going to flash Google Apps or something into Cyanogenmod, you would go through the little process I showed you in the dual boot patcher there, and then you would patch the Google Apps zip file, and then you would end up with dual at the bottom, and then you would end up flashing that, which would flash it into your secondary partition as opposed to your primary partition. But you have to make sure that you actually take the time to use the patcher to modify it to install into the second partition. Now it's taking a little bit to boot up here. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I'm running out of space on this device, so I may have to pause it real quickly, and I'll get back to you real quick. Alright. So as you can see here, the first boot, it is going to optimize apps and everything. Now with this method, you can share the apps between both ROMs without having to install a duplicate app on the second ROM, if you get what I mean. So if you already have, say, Facebook installed on the Samsung ROM, you can merge in a way or share that app with the second ROM, so that you don't have to install it a second time on the second ROM, holding up more space. Then you'll be taking up double the space if you didn't have that option. Now that option is available to share the apps and data from the original ROM, which is my Samsung ROM, my stock ROM on my primary partition, and you can share all those apps with your secondary. You know, there is a couple that don't share, you know, couple of Samsung TouchWiz specific apps, like maybe the Samsung camera, but you can always switch ROMs and go back to the other one, so you'll be fine in that aspect. So this first boot up is still taking some time. I'm gonna pause the video again, and yeah, once it finishes up, we'll continue back to what we were doing. Thanks. Subscribe, like, click an ad or two, all that good stuff, please. It helps support me. Currently I'm using one of my other cameras, so I'm not able to use my original camera, so it is a little different quality, but the quality is still good here. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can, alright? Thanks. So here we are, booted up into our secondary ROM. I customized it real quickly the way I like it. And go back here to show that we are on the latest Cyanogenmod 5.1.1. And for rooting purposes, just in case, make sure root and developer is on. And I'm gonna go to Super SU, which I downloaded. Right there. SU binary. And as easily as this, and I click normal, I got root on my secondary ROM. Just to show you real quickly how you can get it working. Just follow those quick steps. Installing, please wait. Installation successful. Reboot. Yes. So now this rebooting also proves that we are dual booting on the same phone. No reinstalling custom ROMs after the fact or anything like that. I'm going to show you actually booting into one right here. Switching in the settings to boot into the second one. Or I should say my primary ROM. I'm going to boot back into the Samsung ROM, and you're going to have all the proof you need of this method working for multiple phones, as I showed you in the beginning of the video. It works for the S4 and the S6 Edge or something like that, the Note, some of the Nexus devices. So give it a try, see how it goes for you. Took a little bit for boot up, but at least it boots. Battery's getting low on this device, so hopefully we can get this done quick. And it's probably done now. And the battery's low on this device too. Oh. Like I said, this is the latest Cyanogen 5.1.1. Rooted, all that good stuff. Let's show Super SU working nice now. Yeah, all good. Granted, super user, good job. Now to boot back into my primary ROM, which is my Samsung ROM, which it should be for yours. Make sure you have the Samsung ROM as your main ROM. Go through this whole process. Install Cyanogenmod as your second ROM, and then by going back into the app, you can also do app sharing. I enabled these first two settings when I first booted into Cyanogenmod, then rebooted as it advised, and all my apps showed up basically, so that was a great little feature. Keep that in mind. Go to app sharing, enable the first two, and you should be good to go. I'm going to boot back into my first ROM by clicking on it there, and I'm going to click reboot. I'm going to let this thing do what it does. As you can see, we got the Samsung boot logo here because we're not booting into Cyanogenmod, we're booting into Samsung. Always be patient, especially on the first boot of the Cyanogenmod after you've installed it. Everything always takes time. Optimizing one-of-one apps because Cyanogenmod has booted up. They're sharing between the two. Keep everything nice and updated between the two ROMs as you boot in. You won't see this every boot up. Once in a while. If you've installed a whole bunch of new apps on one or the other ROM and then switch to the other one, it's going to have to update and then quickly share those apps. And my phone's almost dead before it does die. I'm going to quickly show about again and show you our dual booting. Good to go, no question about it. I'm using Nova Launcher on both my Cyanogenmod and Samsung Rom. Keep it all looking the same on my app location. I just create a backup and then restore it in the other ROM, and everything's kind of where it needs to be. And yeah, I want to go back into my other one. Don't do app sharing from within the Samsung ROM. You need to share from the Samsung ROM. See? So do it the way I showed you. From Cyanogenmod is where you do the app sharing. Because then you share the original stuff onto that. And yeah. If I wanted to go back to Cyanogenmod, click on that. Switching ROMs. Switch successful. Reboot. And I'm booting back into Cyanogenmod. So I hope you enjoy. Like, subscribe, comment. Remember, this is all at your own risk. Take your time, follow instructions, watch the video a couple of times if you need to fully understand what you're doing, and enjoy. Take care.